Good afternoon, everybody. So, indeed, we have had the privilege to have run, actually, after Sigfox ran the first edition in Taipei between March and June this year. We are right in the middle of the second edition. We started on October 16th, and we have in total 25 students. And the point today is more, in fact, to, well, talk about what happened in the first season, and at least also to go through what we did, what we've done so far, and what are the projects that we're currently curating, incubating in Taipei. Out of the 4 projects that we incubated in Taipei for the first season, the first two projects came out in the sense that they are actually being carried out as industrial products. Okay. The first team was a team of electronic engineering students who, from Taiwan, who were given a project by, I believe, French fire extinguisher equipment makers, who basically said that fire extinguishers need to be monitored in terms of the number of times it is used, and also whenever it's been used, that it's been replaced, well, put back to where it's supposed to be. So you can always find the fire extinguishers. So what the team came up with is a sensor that basically can send an alert whenever the nozzle has been pulled on a fire extinguisher, so that let's say the operator of that building knows that a fire extinguisher has been used in his building. And this team is not only worked hard on the prototype during the 3 months. This was a demo day in June. We had the privilege to have also the former French Minister of Culture, Phillipe Tzou, but also the Minister of Digitalization in Taiwan, Mrs. Tang. The team actually is registering a patent and registering a startup in Taiwan, and they are not only providing this technology, but actually I was just talking to a fire protection company in Singapore about an hour ago about this project. But also they're developing a new business calling basically what a lot of Taiwanese companies do in designing IoT-specific prototypes and solutions. So it's a very, how do you say, for a person that worked on this project, 4 startups, 4 teams, one of them coming out as a startup that registered and is going towards commercialization it's a very motivating feeling. And the second startup is actually sitting right here, Ravi over here. And this was actually a very interesting case where a startup company came to the hacking house to accelerate the development of their prototype, so that at the end of the 3 months, they have a prototype that works, and they can move on to actual possible industrialization. So I believe you're still working on a firmware though, but the demo day of the hacking house first edition with Urban AI, the smart car insurance company, technology. They demonstrated basically a ODB2 plug that could be plugging onto a car, so that the data of the driver's behavior could be sent up could be logged, okay, continuously logged, and that data could be passed on to insurance company when they need to evaluate the driver behavior, the behavior of driving of a person they are trying to insure, so that insurance company don't start charging you differently charge you accurately, according to your driver's behavior. And what is really also very exciting is that subsequent to this 3 months of acceleration development, the team has moved on today towards fundraising and talking to insurance companies in Taiwan, I believe. And the good thing about Ravi being here is, there's a proof that he's already in the Sigfox ecosystem. And Think Tank is a startup that has a IoT dashboard with artificial intelligence integrated in it, that is extremely useful. I make some publicity for you too, right? It's important to know that we in Singapore are working with think tank with commercial malls using our buttons for user satisfaction. So it was a startup before the Hacking House. If I can move on to the next slide, we have launched the season 2 of Hacking House in October, and the Unibiz model of the Hacking House in Taipei this fall was to generate a lot of support and sponsorship, to be honest, from our ecosystem in Taiwan. So we're working with ST Microelectronics. They have a very interesting and large booth over there. We're working with a local co-working space and accelerator that is run by, in fact, the city of Taipei. So a public authority that runs an incubation center in Neihu, about 10 minutes from Unibiz's office. And we're working with a top engineering school called National Jiao Tong University, which has one of the most influential acceleration program called IAPS. And as an SO and also as a driver of IoT in Taiwan, driver of the adoption of IoT technology, we believe that this was a very good, interesting acceleration program to, in fact, be searching for talents among the schools that we work with. I personally went to pitch lecture in 6 different schools in Taiwan, engineering schools. We also believe that it's an important way of involving our ecosystem locally in Taiwan. So we have semiconductor companies, we have electronic manufacturing company, we have mentors who are providing their business consulting, help. We have on this picture we had basically the ambassador of Guatemala, because we had a coffee-related project. We had a legislator, the Taiwanese legislator Yuan. We had the ambassador of Singapore as well. Unibiz is a company from Singapore. And also, most importantly, we had 25 students from 12 countries who are all on scholarship or on exchange programs in Taiwan. And the Hacking House was providing an English language program for helping students to learn about IoT and learn about entrepreneurship. And most of the students could not find English language program of the same sort. So we basically touched on different resources that we didn't know existed, that foreign students in Taiwan were extremely interested in our program. To go through these 4 projects, because it's important to present them and ask whoever in the audience is interested in them. We have a project that is helping postmen in Taiwan, but also anywhere in the world, because we're trying to make sure that postmen do not open empty post boxes on the street anymore. In Taiwan, there are 8,000 post boxes on the street, and less letters being posted. I think it's the same case in pretty much all over the world. But the 8,000 boxes need to be opened every day by the mailman. So the team is trying to put sensors inside the mailbox so that once their letters have been deposited, they will notify the postman, and then we will optimize the route of the postman collection every evening. And so we found out, for instance, that in the central district in Taipei, there are 110 post boxes, and only 3 mailmen every evening have to maintain them, have to operate them. We have a very interesting project in smart agriculture, and I know a lot of startups on this show are working on smart agriculture. There is a disease called the coffee leaf rust. So there are actually fungus that attack the leaves of coffee trees, and that will prevent the production of coffee. And in 2017 in Honduras, 30% of the coffee production was affected by this epidemic. So what the team wants to do is basically, can we start using sensors in the coffee field plantation to start knowing whenever the coffee leaf rust might grow, and to prevent the coffee producers to be overusing pesticide, because when they know that one area has coffee leaf, they actually they actually put pesticide all over the plantation. So it has environmental impact as well. We have recycled, so-called, a project coming from the Hacking House in San Francisco. In the sense, we're working on a container seal that has an IoT connection, so that whenever a container has been opened at the receiver's end, there is a signal that will be sent out by Sigfox to, well, whoever that needs to know that information. So that can be the person that shipped the container, the person that owns the content of the container at the receiving end. It could be the freight forwarder, it could be the customs. There's so many different companies involved in the shipping of one container that we believe we understood the fact that that data is very essential. So this is a challenge in making a Monarch version of a connected seal for containers that could be not only sending up information of when and where and possibly who has opened the container, what seal, because there's a serial number on every single seal, and what container, but also to bring it down to a less than, hopefully less than $8 unit, because this is a seal that costs about $1 for one-time use only right now by container operators. And the last project is actually relevant for every single, just like the former speaker was talking about concrete. We have a team that's working on how to monitor the safety of workers on a construction site. So the idea of the connected safety helmet, for instance, or connected wearable for a workers, so that we know whenever a worker is too tired to work, or maybe his heartbeat is not regular anymore. This is basically the idea that on a big construction site, we know where is everybody, we know whether a person is entering a dangerous area, we know whether a person is on site, what time did he come on site, what time did he check out. And so altogether we have those 4 very exciting projects. We just survived the first crash test last week. We had a visit to Container Park in Keelung, in the north of Taiwan. We had a visit to a coffee show, actually, where a lot of producers from all over the world went to Taiwan for a international coffee show. And we're actually really looking out for people that are interested in any of those 4 projects to provide, well, industrial feedback, insights. So how the contractors and construction site operates in terms of monitoring, the workers. Do they need that kind of monitoring? And if yes, how much money are they willing to put in? We actually also have been discussing with, for instance, the UAE Emirates SO, iWire, about possibly a POC in Dubai. So it's a very exciting program, and maybe to the last few minutes I have, I think I have a last slide, do I? No. Not anymore. Okay.
Actually, we have two more messages to give.
Yes.
The first one is follow us on the social networks. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We give updates about these projects. Search for Hacking House by Sigfox. And the last thing we want to show you is some testimonials of students coming to the Hacking House. So if we could start video, please.